Oh,
Hey,
right,
we're live.
there it is.
And we made it.
My head is still on. I don't know what's going
People
on
can see
today.
us.
People can see what's happening, people.
Stack Pickle, how's everybody doing?
Stack Pickle,
Hey,
yeah.
there we go. We got a softball team out here.
All right.
You guys
How's everybody doing
did you
today?
guys win?
Everybody good today? Picture day? All
Okay,
right,
fair
good.
enough. Welcome to the Chris Lytle Show.
Right on.
My name
Lights
is
Out
Brandon
Lytle
Guise,
podcast.
here hosting with you. I'm here with the Chris Lights Out Lytle. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How's everybody doing? We're here at the Stack Pickle south side of Indianapolis off Southport Road. Good to be seen. Hopefully you guys like what you're looking at. Huh?
Right?
Anyway, we're just here to hang out, talk a little bit. Please let us know what you guys want to talk about because I got notes and stuff here, but that's not. But what's happening, Chris? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you hanging in there, brother. Stay strong, my friend. Yes.
Hey,
All right.
for those on my feed, we want to hear your comments. We want to hear what you want to talk about as well. I got a couple
What's
people
up,
on
Sean?
here.
You got another ride for me? Sorry.
That's all right. Last week you guys were kind of quiet, so I'm gonna need you guys to turn up a little bit for me.
Sean, let me know if we can do another charity ride. I'm into that stuff, man. I'm gonna ride before it gets too cold out there because I'm I look tough and everything, but I don't like it when it's cold out. I don't ride the motorcycle then. So,
What kind of bike do you got?
yeah, we gotta thank. I got a Harley, but we gotta thank our sponsors right away. Who you got for us? Education time. We got that place. We'd like to thank for sponsoring us. We also have obviously the Stack Pickle, great place.
We love it here.
We have Scotty's Doghouse. We'd like to look into that for by Butler. You got to check that place out. It's going to be great. So, well, you guys, I want to hear what you guys want to talk about. Please come on, education time. I got what I'm going to talk about. Brandon's got what he's going to talk about. So we're just going to start in then. If that's it.
Let's go.
Hold on. Let's go, Chris. Oh shit, Deweese, Edwin Deweese. Tell him I said what's up, man. My buddy. So, what you got? What you got going on? First of all,
Man. You know what I'm going to do? There's too much going on this week. So, and I hate that I'm so emotionally invested in it. I hate it.
Let's start.
But I
with
am.
something positive right now. Not positive, kind of negative, but it's funny.
I like positive.
Here in Indiana, we had an incident where they were making a movie in Crawfordsville, Indiana. You know that? Crawfordsville. So they're in the middle of Crawfordsville. They're trying to do a scene where they rob a bank. And the problem is, what up, Sean? Nobody told the bank that they were doing this. Nobody told the police they were doing this. So a police officer showed up and he saw a guy outside with a mask and a gun, and he pulled out a gun and shot the guy.
Oh my God! He actually shot him.
He actually shot at him. Didn't hit him, but shot at him. And the guy put the gun down and said, "It's a movie. It's a movie." Everybody else was inside. Kind of hilarious. The good news is nobody got killed, but that's funny. That's funny as hell. Come on, you can't make that stuff up.
On
right?
a side note, Crawfordsville PD. I'm going to need you guys to start spending a little bit more time at the range.
Yeah. He shot up in the air. I don't know what he shot, but that's funny stuff, man. I love it.
Being that's from Crawfordsville, what I see in my head is oh God.
Wabash.
Andy Griffith.
Mayberry. My bowling, Andy. I'll get my bowling.
Pick his bullet out of his pocket. Marty 5. That's what I was thinking.
That's funny stuff. I love it.
All right. Well, I'm glad nobody was hurt in that situation.
Todd? Good to see you, buddy.
Kind of hard to believe.
Wrestling season's coming up. He's right. But we're going to start off. I mean, I have to start off with a little bit of another good story. Positive. We usually don't do positive stuff. This is positive.
I like the positive. Let's start it out.
We had a politician got to return back to work today. Huh?
Who did?
A politician who got shot multiple times.
Scalise?
Yeah.
He did come back. I listened to his speech, and I was kind of touched by it, and I'm glad that he's back.
He's a 51-year-old Louisiana. He was gunned down in softball practice down in Washington, D.C., and he's back now. So everybody's standing ovation. They all could agree on one thing for once. That was nice.
I'm so glad that was a traumatic experience. Having an assassination attempt at a Senate softball game. It's just, softball practice. I'm sorry.
At least something exciting happened in softball, right?
Fair. I don't know. Have you watched women's college softball?
I don't know.
I'm rather excited about it. I'm just. What do they got over here?
There we go. I see Mike Turner.
Like to see these guys. Brian Atwell, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's happening, Joe? Good to see
Mark
you guys.
Mayer.
Where's Mark Mayer?
Mark Mayer's over here.
What's up, big guy? How you doing? What's up? All right, so we're going to talk a little bit of UFC. Might as well go right in the cage,
Let's do it.
So this past weekend we had couple good fights. The one thing that surprised me, if you guys watch UFC this week, We had Claudia versus Jessica Andres. I thought Claudia would probably take it. She got her ass whooped. I'm going to be honest with you. She won maybe the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the fight, and then she just got dominated. Jessica Andres looked phenomenal, just beat her down. Just physically strong, picked her up overhead, threw her down a couple times, had her all bloodied up. It was a great fight, but man, I don't know, to be honest with you, if Claudia will be the same. You know, she got manhandled by a woman, and that's just a weird thing to say. Anyway, she got woman handled, is that what you're saying? She got woman handled, and it was weird. But she got beat up. Then you had a fight that really wasn't supposed to be that great. OSP was going against Okami, and he got caught in a Von Flue choke, and that's Okami's third one. He's finished more people by the Von Flue choke than Von Flue himself. So I think we should recall the OSP choke, but nobody's on board with that. So it's going to stay at the Von Flue.
All right.
Besides that, we have big fights coming in this weekend. Really excited. UFC 216, the big one, obviously, Kevin Lee versus Tony Ferguson. Now, if you know much about that, that's a big fight. So I can't wait to see that.
That's one that was supposed to be 215, right?
I don't think so. No, I think that. No, that was the one, Demetrius Johnson versus Ray Borg. That's right. A co-main event now, because Dana Smith said, like, no, you're co-main event. You guys are talking too much trash about me. Demetrius, you say too much bad stuff. Oh, wait, you never main event again. So that's co-main event. That's a good fight. You have, before that, Werdum versus Derek Lewis. I like Werdum in this. Derek Lewis showed me last time. He's got the gas tank of like a 12-year-old kid or something. I don't know, just can't do much, you know. So that was terrible. But the fight I'm talking about is Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee. Fantastic fight on paper. I mean, I think it's going to be great. I really don't even know who's going to win. I'm going to go with Ferguson. I think Ferguson's so dynamic. He can do everything well. He can punch. He can strike. He can kick a little bit. He can wrestle. I remember when he fought Barbosa. He's diving in upside down at knee bars trying to get. It was crazy. It was funny to watch. I was like, oh my god, because he was getting rocked. He has a good chin, but he was diving down to these rolling knee bars. I never seen anything like it. So,
you know, when people and keep in mind, I fully understand this is a different kind of athlete to be able to do something like that. But when people pull stuff like that, it just makes me like that. Just takes the cojones of a gorilla.
Oh yeah, just like I'm gonna dive at your leg upside down and try and get a submission. Like,
because you miss, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, he tried it a couple times. He tried it twice in that fight. Like wow, and but like I said, he will try anything. He's a good wrestler. He's a good striker. He's got good submissions, especially he got a good guard show. But then you also have, Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee's on a big streak as well. He's won a lot. He's got a good right hand. He's got a good kick. But he's a good wrestler. He's going to try to take people down. He's got a great rear naked choke. He does a good job of not only trying to get this way a choke, he'll use a different fight script. He does a lot of good things. So I'm looking forward to seeing that fight. I'm going to go with Ferguson. The only thing that makes me think Kevin Lee could win is Ferguson's won 9 in a row. I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say that he's won 2 in a row, but that's what happens.
I mean, that's momentum.
2 in a row, what are you going to do? Oh, and then we got Olima Roy McDonald asking me about that right here, but then that's on Bellator, one of the competitors there. And I got to be honest with you, I think Roy McDonald's going to walk through his weight class. I mean, he's on a different level right now with a lot of those guys. I think he was there at the UFC. A lot of people think he left UFC because of it easier. I don't think that's it. I think he's getting paid more and he gets sponsorship and he's a smart person. I think you're going to see a lot of people do that in the UFC here soon.
And that's been my question for a while. It's nice to have you here to kind of shed some insight on it. Do you foresee Bellator giving the UFC a challenge for that top spot in the near future?
You know, man, like a year ago you asked me that, I laughed in your face, I laughed at you about a year ago, but now I'm like, man, I don't know, man. They've opened the door. The UFC's been stupid enough to open up a door for them. They're taking away my sponsorship. The things that they're doing is not paying them as well and taking away sponsorship. If you're a good fighter, why do you not want that money? It's like
absolutely.
I fight for a reason. It's not so everybody wants to see me and I'm on a video game. It's so I can get paid. And the reality of this is a business, and people are going to go to who's paying the most money. I think a lot of the older guys, a lot of veterans right now, a lot of good guys like Rory McDonald, he's a veteran. He's going to start going to where the money is, and that's what people are going to do. Jeff Johnson, when am I coming to the gym? Oh, Indie Boxing. I was there today, Jeff. I was there at Indie Boxing.
Where were you?
Today. I came in the morning, though. I will start coming more at night, but I've been coming in the morning, dude. Got a good group of people there. We got Ryder. We got Mitch Rellin was in there today. His big, strong ass was in there throwing people around. It was rough, So, yeah.
Hey, let me ask something. Since you started out talking about
what's up, Tom?
Talking about a women's fight.
Yeah.
You have women's UFC making a making a push here.
Sure.
And then you have some of the the PC police type stuff, and you end up with a Fallon Fox.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I have my thoughts on that.
Well,
What are your
my good buddy Matt Mitrell got in big trouble for talking about that earlier, so he got fined by the UFC, which I can't be fined by him, so I can say whatever I want. And I mean, it's different, with a lot of different people in different sports or different avenues. I don't care if you want to do so, that's fine. But to me, when you have the bone structure and the muscular density, different things of a man, I think it's weird for you to go in there and brutalize women. He put a couple of them in the hospital. That's not right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something wrong when I think he wants to go brutalize women like that. So that's just me. I think it's an unfair advantage when he has the bone structure and the density of a man, and he, is now fighting women. I don't understand. I mean, if you want to play him in tennis, cool, go ahead. If you want to run against them, that's fine. But fighting them in a cage is a different thing. Yeah, I'm with you.
It bugs the living crap out of me, and it's more so. Okay, so I never saw him fight until I heard about it,
yeah.
And then I went back and watched. And the guy, he's not good.
Nobody's
he's just manhandling. Like that's all it is. It wasn't solid technique. It wasn't. Oh well, he's super quick, or it was just you're just manhandling women.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't understand how that's okay. Especially at a professional level.
You would think a lot of the people who defend that would say, yeah, this isn't right. He's beating up women, but I've never heard anything besides.
Well, because the PC police win and narrative trumps.
I know.
That's the theme.
All right,
God damn it!
Let me think.
What do I got over here?
Well,
hey, Dragon and Mo are over at Mark Mayer's. What's up, people? I haven't seen you guys in forever. It seems like. Hopefully, they're still watching. I got a couple on there still.
Okay, so another positive news. I got a lot of positive news here. I know people probably surprised. Finally, for at least a brief period, we have suspended the Jones Act in Puerto Rico. And a lot of people have no idea what the Jones Act is. Huh? Who? What? That's what I'm talking about, time to educate you guys. The Jones Act is a very detrimental act that basically says people going through you cannot make a shipment into Puerto Rico unless it is from America. So if you have a ship that's going from wherever to wherever else, and then
you have to be flying an American flag.
They want to drop off some goods, and it'd be a lot cheaper that way. Then you can do that, but you can't because we have the Jones Act. So they have to drive everything. They have to take a boat to America, and they have to put the American flag on, and they have to pay those sailors to take it over. They're going to cost so much more money that Puerto Rico can't do it. So they're not as competitive as all the other countries over there, all the other little islands. So that's why tourism hurts. However, right now they still had that rule for a while. Even though things were decimated, they're like, hey, what are we going to do to help this out? We're going to suspend the Jones Act. So all these other boats going by now can drop off supplies. That's normally not the case. I just think it's weird that we have a rule. There's only like 1,600 merchant marine guys who do this. We're making life in Puerto Rico difficult all the other days to help these people, these 1,600 guys. What sense does that make, brother?
This legislation goes back, I believe it was the 1930s.
Rob, when you
if I was reading correctly, and it's antiquated and it's something that needs to go away. They did away with it so that they can get the aid that they can. FEMA's doing a great job out there. I've every day, because I started hearing so many people.
See you, bud. Thanks.
The left has just been waiting. Doing like this, waiting to attribute Trump to a Katrina-like response. And they said, oh, Puerto Rico's Trump's Katrina, Trump's Katrina, Trump's Katrina. And nobody was really talking about the positives that were going on. So I've been going kind of above and beyond and making sure that I repost something from FEMA every day showing the work that they're doing down there. You got to understand, they're going in there, there's no power. There's nowhere to land an airplane. That they couldn't even get ships into the ports.
Well, what I'm hearing too, even there's a lot. They went there, somebody complained. They go to ports and there's a ton of food sitting there, and they're like, "This has been here for several days. We can't get it out to people, and it has nothing. There's nothing we can do. All the streets are flooded. I mean, there's nothing.
Flooded,
people
power
can do.
lines
down. They delivered as much food as they could. And they're like, "What are we going to drop it off in the helicopters? How are we supposed to get this food to people right now?" And water, that's the problem. It's not that the food's not being shipped there. It is sent there. It's been there for a while. They just don't know what to do with it now.
Yeah, it's a difficult task. My hat's off to these people because, I can't imagine trying to figure all of that out. Puerto Rico isn't Houston. we can't hop in a truck with a boat on the back, park our truck and throw our boat in the water somewhere in the street and just go start saving people. It's an island.
Yeah,
it takes a lot to get there, and so the rescue attempt has been slower. But literally, FEMA has been on top of it every step of the way, and they've done everything they absolutely can. And instead of looking for something to criticize because you don't like the administration, I think these people need some support. They need to be looked out for at this point.
I know. All right.
It's all Bush's fault.
Yeah. Hey, just the hurricane in general is because of the rain.
Yeah. Global warming. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
We never had hurricanes until Al Gore created global warming.
Well, another. Now, all the positive news I've said, you got to take it all away right now, people. Everybody, pay attention. I want everybody take your hats off or whatever. A sad day. Hugh Hefner. He's left the building. He's not around anymore, man. So everybody, what do they say? Everybody is at half-mast now. He didn't make it. He's done. So the Playboy Mansion's for sale, I imagine. Anybody wants to put a bid in. But Hugh Hefner passed away last night, I believe. So it's kind of a sad day for everybody.
91 years old.
All women drop your tops.
Yeah. So,
Hey, ladies, if you're not showing your boobs, you're not even American.
Exactly. Go back to Russia. I don't know, maybe.
Rest in peace, Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, sad day.
I'd say you were in a better place, but I know better.
Yeah, that's not true. He's sad. He's like, oh, yeah, it's all right here, I guess. That's probably what he said.
Oh God, I saw one.
I guess.
And it was a Muslim guy, and it says, "When I die, I get 72 virgins." It's Hugh Hefner saying, "Well, you better hurry."
What else?
Oh, I love it.
We got Dwayne Wade is now going to be a Cleveland Cavalier. Oh, everybody's excited. What do you think, people? Is that going to help out? The East, the West, there's becoming like a few teams, and that's it anymore. Boston looks really, really tough. I think Cleveland looks really, really tough.
I feel like the NBA is almost turning into the MLB.
Yeah,
it's just
with the Yankees.
if you've got the money to do it, you can buy it and put it together. I think this is why I don't watch much NBA anymore. Like, I love college basketball.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's good.
Except for Louisville right now.
Oh yeah, I'm not on Patino. I think this might have a lot of effects on not only college basketball, college football. They're coming out with people who are getting money. A lot of scandals going on for whatever. So I think you're going to see a lot of heads roll, and there's going to be a lot of arrests made, and it can really shake college sports down all the way to its foundation. Because we know people have been taking money. We know this has been going on for a long time, and now they're finally coming after people. I look forward to seeing who's all gets in trouble.
Right.
Well, Patino's out, but that dude's as dirty as it gets. Always has been. We know that. So
here's another question for you. Now, obviously, it's illegal. They're going to be charged and all that fun stuff. But what's legal is always what's right. Do you think that college athletes should be able to collect a paycheck?
Me, I do not. To me, you're going to college, you're getting your education paid for. If you're good enough, you will go to the NBA and be able to make money. Now I do think this. If this college athlete can go and sign autographs and get paid, I think they should be able to.
So you should go sell memorabilia then.
Why would? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's their signature. How can you not get paid for your own signature? I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
And I was thinking about this earlier today, and from a moral standpoint, and from an ethical standpoint, my only qualm with that is that you are
right, Joe.
You're at a public university.
Yep.
A university that accepts public funds. You're on a scholarship. You're not paying to go there. Should you really be making a profit while you're going to school? While you're going to a public university? And I feel like that would be different than you being at a private university.
I don't know. I don't mind the rules of when you're in college and you're getting your school paid for and everything. I don't have a problem with this saying no, because then you're going to really incentivize the best players to start going to private schools. And I don't have any problem with them not being able to do that.
Sure,
that's just me.
I'm with you. I
got somebody right here asking me about John Jones. What's my thought about that? And I just think it's a shame because he's very talented, phenomenal. But I think he's been doing that type of testosterone or whatever steroid for quite some time, I would think. and he's failed multiple tests and different things. I think, he's an excellent fighter. He's up here at the top, but he continues to try and, I got to get ahead. I got to do whatever I can to keep achieving when I have to. I mean, you can tell from DC, he doesn't do that stuff. He's just a tough-ass dude. So it's unfortunate that one guy is going to try to take shortcuts and cheat his way to get there when the other people aren't. So,
right.
I don't know, man. It definitely puts a black on what he's been able to accomplish, because you think, how good would he have been without it? We don't know. I mean, because I think he's been doing stuff for an awful long time. Hard to prove that, but, I think some of these things they took, they weren't tested for a few years before that. So
I don't know. In the UFC, are they coming down harder on those situations?
Yeah, absolutely. They've been coming way harder on the steroids.
Now, how often are you getting tested?
Yeah, they get tested
before every fight.
Yeah. But like I said, at one point this stuff was not it metabolized out of the body a lot faster. They said within 6 weeks it was out of your system. They changed the test and it made it last 6 months. So he thought it was safe. I can still take this, and I can not take it for 6 weeks, and I'll still be big, strong, whatever. It's 6 months now, brother. So that was the problem. He was like, "Well, I didn't get that memo." Well, I'm sorry, John. Maybe you should just try it. They didn't tell you. So
listen. You make the big bucks. You're making enough money to pay somebody to get you that memo.
Exactly.
I have a hard time. Me personally, I have a hard time feeling bad for you at that point.
Yeah, I don't feel bad.
I want to see a fight. I do, and so I feel bad for myself because I don't get to see it. But I have a hard time feeling bad for you about that. I really
Maybe
do.
he can go to like some third world country and fight. Like UFC Indonesia or something.
Let's go on the video camera. Let's make Kickboxer 2017.
Yeah.
A little Jean-Claude Van Damme action.
Yeah, and they can fight each other. That'd be fine. John had beat him in about 4 seconds, so, I didn't want to see him fight Brock, even though they're both on steroids. What would it matter? You know what I mean? That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean.
Hey, to be honest with you, I'd like to see that. Hey, you can do whatever you want. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, do whatever you want. You're the one who's going to have kidney problems and probably die in 10 years later. But if you want to take that stuff, go right ahead.
Hey,
I'm
when
pro steroids. If people want to do it, that's all you. Go ahead.
When you look at where the UFC started and where it's at now,
yeah.
How much of the old UFC do you miss? Any of it?
Oh man! Oh yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people. I've talked to several people who love the old school UFC, and not only like the people's mentality, but how the thing was ran, everything. I mean, it was just a different time.
Two guys in a ring, go.
Yeah, I mean, and you only had people there who were in it because they loved the sport. If you were in it for money, you weren't very smart, or you were very bad at math, and you thought money was different.
Yeah.
So you weren't smart, but I mean, people loved the sport. They loved competing. I mean, it was cool. I remember we had one of the fights, and I can't remember where it was. I remember doing it in Vegas, and I remember having one in Connecticut. And afterwards, the after-fight party, everybody's hanging out in somebody's room, and like Randy Couture's over there, Chuck Liddell there. People were probably doing cocaine in the bathroom. I don't know. It was just chaos.
My kind of party.
It was just fun. It was like everybody would hang out, and everybody's real friends. Everybody knew each other, and nobody had bad blood. It was, but everybody was really. There for the right reason. Everybody was just a hard-nosed individual. You weren't there, you weren't fluffing. Now you've got a lot of different kind of people in there, and people are here because they've been watching this since they were 4 years old, and they really want to fight in UFC. It's been their dream. That was nobody's dream back then. There was no, if you were too old to have that as a dream. So it was just a fun time that you were living right there, and everybody had a good time. So there's a lot of things about that I know a lot of people miss and like, but it was a good time. Everybody enjoyed it.
You know what I really liked about that, and what I like about going back and watching those fights, is you had people from different walks of life and from different disciplines and different backgrounds. And now in the UFC, you pretty much have, it's almost like, well, MMA has become its own art.
Yeah, exactly.
Where back then you had your Gracies, you had the jiu-jitsu, you had your guy that was a black belt in karate, you had your kung fu guys, you had your boxers.
Kevin, we're going to get to what?
National anthem.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, people.
I have a whole page.
We got stuff coming up.
This is all national anthem.
Trust me. I know. You know what's coming.
Kevin, we're going to get you.
We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it, but I'm trying not to lose all our viewers right now because I got some I got some things that might piss some people off. So
We are going to get to that.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody who's on our live feeds, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, please tell us what you guys want to hear about and share some of this stuff. We'll get it out there.
If you guys got some different points of view, we'd like to hear those too. We'll try to keep up as much as we can.
Yeah, because hey, a debate's no fun if it's one-sided. I want to hear what people think. What's happening, Dave? How you doing, buddy? Why'd you come hang out with us anymore, man? We got to get together. Anyway, but yeah, the funny thing was back when I was fighting with UFC, I remember at the beginning, it was like, what's this guy going to do? He's a wrestler. What's this guy? He's a kickboxer. I mean, nobody was like multifaceted. It's like, oh, he does both? Oh, what am I going to do now? You know what I mean? Yeah. But everybody knows, if you don't do everything now, when was the last time you said he's a boxer? What? You know, like, he's going to get his ass.
Now, you're still training fighters, right?
Yeah, I trained some people today, as a matter of fact. It was fun.
And so let me ask you, you're training these guys. Let's just split it up, ground and stand up.
Yeah.
What percentage of what goes into that training?
Depends on the camp. It depends on who they're fighting. If they're fighting a primary, a stand-up guy, we're going to work more stand-up. If they're a ground guy, more ground. If it's even, you probably do. It depends on the individual. I'd say probably a little bit more ground than stand-up. Because, stand-up's just brutal on your head and everything. You don't really want that. So it just depends. But it depends. Sometimes you do all stand-up. It depends on what's going on. So, yeah, the bad thing is you got to mix wrestling in there. You got to mix jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. There's so many different facets. There's always something to be done. And then you'll work sometimes on how to be on the ground and get up and punch. And how to be on the ground and get up and punch. And how to wrestle. And then it's just terrible. So a little bit of everything. It's hard.
Now,
practice sucks.
I'm kind of a nerd as far as this stuff kind of goes. As you look at like your jiu-jitsu stuff. How much? How do I say this? How much traditional jiu-jitsu do you have in there?
I never did any traditional jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
A lot of guys did I was right from the beginning. I did like submission grappling, shoot wrestling, or shoot fighting, or catch wrestling. You could say so. It was just a bunch of guys getting out there and rolling and trying to figure out how to break the other guy's arm or choke him without real instructions. And we'd all come together and be like, I'm having trouble choking this guy. What do I do? And we'd all grapple each other and then try to figure it out. So it was just a different time when we taught ourselves. And that's why we're difficult to fight, because a traditional jiu-jitsu guy, I know what they're going to do. Other people don't know what they don't know what I'm going to do. I know what they're going to do. They don't know what I'm going to do. So it makes it a little better for me, I think.
All right.
So, in a totally different note here, I'm going to get my conspiracy theory side going.
I like it. Let's do it.
Conspiracy theory.
Let's do it.
So, I was watching a show here about the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, for all you young folks. And I was when he
was
went
that 92? Was that?
I can't remember. When he went to Harvard, this was back in the 60s. He was like 18 years old, 16. He was 16, as a matter of fact. And he met a professor at Harvard, and the guy he talked him into coming and hanging out with him a lot, wanted to do his psychological tests on him. Come to find out, he was involved with MK Ultra. Now, if nobody knows what MK Ultra is, it's a mind-altering thing where they would take people, they would give them drugs, they would torture them, they would do whatever to try and make them like a Manchurian candidate in some incidents. There's several theories of some assassins were involved with MK Ultra, and they had a trigger that made them assassinate people. Now, this was not what was going on with Ted Kaczynski, but they were studying him, and then he didn't take it well. Like, they did studies on him for about 3 years, and he said that was kind of, according to this was like another brick in the wall that made him want to do what he did. He hated society, he hated people, he hated the way he was treated, and so he went away and started blowing people up. I just thought it was very interesting to see that MK Ultra was a factor in his life. I had no idea of that. I never heard that before, though. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I've never heard that either.
MK Ultra, if you don't know what it is, look it up. Some people say, like that Sirhan, he has no recollection of what happened. You got, Hinckley, you got just other people who have done assassinations or assassination attempts, and they're just sitting out there reading Catcher in the Rye, or they're just like they don't really understand. They say they were involved with some studies and some torture stuff, and that was the result. I don't know, it's pretty interesting to look into. So I don't know. What's happening, Adam?
That's terrifying. That's all the way terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm scared of that.
Well, thanks, Adam. I appreciate that. But yeah, that is crazy stuff. All right, you want to? Okay.
One more time, real quick. Hey, Stack Pickle, thank you so much for having us.
Come hang out.
We're having a great time up here.
All right, Franklin Central softball's in the house. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing. Sorry.
Franklin Central softball parents over here watching football.
Yeah.
I like it.
What else we got? Okay, one more positive note thing. Tax reform came in. What do you think? What you got on that? I know you got a lot on tax reform.
Okay, so we have not seen tax reform in this country since 1986.
1986. Are you
That's a
kidding me?
problem. Thanks, Reagan. I was born '84, so we're due.
That's right, Joe.
Now, I looked over the tax plan but you have to keep in mind that any tax reform has to start in the House. Okay, the House has the purse strings. So what this is Trump telling the House,
this is what I want, huh?
This is what I want to have happen. This isn't an actual bill. This is more of an outline. Now the issue I see with this, all right. So to run through it real quick, about to lower taxes and rework the tax brackets, which he did. Taking the corporate tax rate from I think it's 35% right now.
The highest in the world. It is right now. Which
It is.
one reason we're not as competitive with. I mean, who's going to do? A corporation wants to be here and they want to get out of here.
Burger King incorporated in Canada, I think 4 years ago. Burger King. It just
I'll find out
over that. You're gonna no inheritance or a death tax is what's usually
I
called.
like that too. Will you ask that lady? Will you grab the waitress for me when you get a chance? I just got a question for her. Go ahead.
Going from 7 tax brackets to 3. We've got 12, 25, and 35. You're going to increase the child tax credit and add a $500 credit for adult dependents. What I thought was funny was that our own Senator Joe Donnelly, Democrat from Indiana, was there at the state fairgrounds with Trump. And so Trump, quote, if Joe Donnelly doesn't support it, we'll come after him like you wouldn't believe in next year's election.
I love
Joe
it.
Donnelly, we're coming out for you.
I love it, man.
So because this originates in the House, and because the House has the Tea Party caucus, and because you have such staunch conservatives in the House, I think on the right you're going to run into problems because they're going to want this to be out of the barrelhead revenue neutral. You're cutting a lot of tax brackets here. It's not going to be revenue neutral out of the gate with the way that it's set up, from what I can see.
Well, I mean, like you said, this is a blueprint, but that is I agree with that, and definitely. I mean, like, it's a recipe for disaster when you cut income and you don't cut spending. I mean, I don't understand how you would say we're just going to cut this income, but we're going to spend more. Because I guarantee you, to get this passed, the Democrats are going to want some extra spending going on there. We're going to have some infrastructure spending. You have to do something to entice people to vote for this. And if you do that, then I mean you're decreasing the amount of money, at least for some time. Theoretically, you're going to get more in the long term. But if you blow the debt up, that does no good. And how are you going to pay for that? I mean, back in the day, we could afford that. Back when Reagan did it, which was still a bad idea when Reagan did it, but at least we can pay for it. Now we can't pay for it. So now what are you going to do?
And that's the thing. Is you look back to '86, you look at '87, and we had more revenue coming into the United States than we did the year before from these tax cuts. I think it was like a 30% increase. I'll have to double check it. Don't quote me on it too. But if somebody wants to look it up and tell me, I'd greatly appreciate that. There's something called a Laffer curve. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. So how much more can you spend and still?
Right. Well,
how much can you raise prices?
It's a bell curve. Okay. If you guys at home can follow me. All right. Now, if you picture a graph.
Yep.
Dollars earned or dollars taken percentage revenue for the government. If you take 0%, you're going to get $0.
Yeah.
But if you take 100%, you're still going to get $0. And so you find where that Laffer curve
the highest point is where you want to be.
And I can't believe that is anywhere near 35% on the corporate rate. And I can't believe that it's anywhere near 35% on personal taxes. It drives me nuts. And that's without going into spending, obviously, where we really have our issues. But it's just, I feel like it's a hard sell. The left is going to come out and say immediately it's a tax cut for the rich. That's the left's talking point. That's what they're going to go with. That's what we're going to hear. But the right,
it's a minus 4.6%. That's very little, really. I mean,
it's not. And they're getting, and the way that this evens out is that they're getting rid of a lot of the deductions.
Exactly.
So
those people that complain about the deductions they're taking, they can't take those now. Another thing, a lot of people are complaining because it goes from 10% to 12% for the poorest. However, that's not counting the larger standard deduction that's in there, then that's going to offset those
Going
and make it
from
where they're going to have even pay less taxes. So the
12
poor
to
are going to be paying less
24,000?
taxes. Exactly. It's going to make it better for them, I promise. So
Yeah, your standard
at least
deduction
according to this. And I'm
for a
not saying
married
that's what's
couple.
going to happen, but it's going to be better for them.
Standard deduction for a married couple is going from $12,000 to $24,000. So as a married couple, your first $24,000 in combined income will not be taxed.
Now here's the problem. Like I said, this means nothing what we're seeing. This is a blueprint that is going to be changed. You know what I mean? So some of this stuff is going to be bargained out, I promise. So that's the problem with it. So no, I'm not saying this is going to be great or this is going to be bad because this is not the bill. I'm saying I like some of the stuff in here. I don't like some of the stuff in here as well. But I mean, most of what I see is I don't like the death tax. I think it's stupid.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, there's no reason.
Can we dive into that?
If I want to, yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, the death tax basically says if I have money and I try to leave a certain amount to my family, I can't. But I don't understand that. I mean, if I work my ass off and I make a business and I'm making good money and I want my children to get that, I should be able to, don't you think? Why should they make it half of it?
Let's break it down even further. Okay. I'm 32 years old. Let's say I start today, and I put $100 a month into some account. Okay, $100 actual net money, actual cash money.
Yeah.
Okay, meaning I've already paid taxes for earning that money. Already been paid. Paid the income tax, paid the whatever tax, however I accrued that money, I've already paid it. And then when I die, you're going to tax all that income again? Fuck off, Uncle Sam.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I got the young, smart Chris Shot here saying Trump's own experts say that they can't guarantee the middle class wouldn't see a tax increase with this plan. Have you seen that talk?
I haven't, but let's be honest, it just rolled out.
Yeah, I don't know. If so, I don't like that. But
it's going to take some scrutiny, and I'm not smart enough to do the math on that. I'll be completely honest. I'm not bright enough to go through and figure that shit out, but I know that there are people smart enough. But even
I'm just not seeing that if it goes out at 25%, because I know I paid more than that at certain times. So, but I don't know.
Even if
maybe with the deductions, and
even if the
everything,
middle class pays a little bit more with this plan, from a principal standpoint, I feel better about it because you're getting rid of deductions and you're paying a lower percentage. The deductions kill me because what the deductions do is it opens the doors for lobbyists to come in here and pull and push. Why do you think we don't have a fair tax yet? Because of the accounting and the attorney.
I would love a fair tax if that would be all there is.
Exactly.
But that wouldn't be the case. They would add. They'd have an income tax and a fair tax if they're going to do anything. That'd kill everything. I think that'd be horrible.
I mean, a fair tax. When I say fair tax, this is we're talking about the same thing. Yeah. I'm talking basically a national sales tax.
Yeah, like a 22% on everything, and no income tax.
Yeah.
No income.
If you make $1,000, you get $1,000 on your paycheck.
That's clearly the way it should be because then you're taxing persons for consumption, not for savings or investments, and that's the only thing that makes sense. They're not going to do that. So
yeah, I mean that's. But from a principal standpoint, I feel good about what he said. There are some things that I would tweak. Personally, I think if we can get Donald Trump to kind of rub elbows with Ted Cruz, I think, and Senator Mike Lee from Utah, I think we'd get something pretty solid because I think Trump needs a few more actual conservatives around him.
All right, man, let's get into – I'm just going to talk about a little bit of the NFL before we get into the whole shenanigans. But only one – I think – am I wrong in this? There's only one undefeated team now? The ALT, Atlanta Hawks – or Atlanta Falcons, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And they should not be undefeated. Anybody watch that game? Can you please explain to me what happened? Hold on one second. Can I get another one of the England? And do you guys have any, eating contest special things here? Okay, I was thinking England. Okay, to answer your question, they do not have any eating contest. Okay, we got the Chiefs. The Chiefs are undefeated now as well.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, the Chiefs look strong.
I think they're going to get beat this week.
You think so?
Well, no. I
don't think I'll be watching.
I don't think they're going to cover the spread. I don't know. That's my thought. That's all that really matters. What's happening, James? How you doing? Jimmy. Yes.
Oh.
So anyway, they're undefeated. I don't understand. The quarterback catches the ball, catches it, lands on the ground. They call touchdown. They come back and say, not only is this not a touchdown, game's over. There's 8 seconds left. I'm trying to figure that whole play out because to me, when he caught it, he bounced. Nobody touched him right then. I didn't see, and then he's in the end zone. What's happened? Now, to me, if they said he was down by contact before then they were touching him before he even caught the ball. So isn't that pass interference? Or if not, he was very close and he bounced right in. I don't understand. Like, I didn't see the guy touching him. One, he was on the ground. So please explain that to me. Can somebody who watched that game explain to me how Detroit lost that game?
I didn't want. I've been upset.
You're boycotting, I know.
That's all I can say. Is I've been upset.
Let's hear about the anthem. What do you think about the anthem?
All right, let's get started.
Yeah.
Let's get started. But I want to go back.
And if anybody here who wants to
I want to hear what you have to say.
100 people say, yeah, you shouldn't have to stand. I get that, so I want to hear why because I'm not getting it. So please.
We're gonna go back to the left. It pushing politics into sports.
Yeah, because. I'm sorry to interrupt, but remember when Kaepernick came and didn't stand at first and sat, he said it was for racial inequality and whatnot. I believe something.
I've got a quote from Colin Kaepernick. I won't stand to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people.
So obviously, I think it had a little bit to do with race.
Flag. I won't stand to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses white people. That's his quote.
Okay, so.
But I'm going to go back 2 years before.
Okay.
St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
Right after Michael Brown. Ferguson, Missouri.
Hands up, don't shoot.
Hands up, don't shoot. Completely false narrative. Why are you bringing that? Why are you bringing that out here?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, people in Congress came out. Staffers in Congress came out like this. I feel like the ladies on The View came out like. There are a lot of people perpetuating this false narrative that was proven to be false. But and then you have. Bob Costa? Is that his Bob Costa?
Yeah.
Going off about guns and this and that in sports, and honestly, it drives me nuts. If I'm watching a game, I'm watching it on mute up until this point because I can't stand it. And then you had Colin Kaepernick come in last season, deciding he was sitting first,
and then
he was kneeling.
My friend Shine just a Green Beret had told him to kneel instead of sit, which to me, can't Green Berets say some incorrect stuff too? I think so because ask any other. Not any. A lot of veterans are still offended by that. So because that one Green Beret wasn't, that's not an excuse to me to say, well, okay, but that's neither here nor there. But go ahead. To address that point, I think you're still offending a lot of people by doing it. But go ahead.
He did, but he was going away. Okay, he's not playing the league anymore. Yeah. The movement was going away.
But to me, this isn't about the movement or that anymore. I bet a lot of people, that's not what they're kneeling for. It's like an anti-Trump thing. And to me, that whole anti-Trump thing isn't even – to me, when I'm looking at it, Trump represents something they don't like. And to me, that is – he's not politically correct. He's more of an old school. He's like an alpha male type of person, and they don't like that. To me, the people he's fighting are the people, in my opinion, are the more – entitlement type of no accountability. Things aren't my fault. My feelings are hurt. People who don't really take a lot of responsibility, and it's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault, and that's the whole narrative. And that's what I think is. That's the way I see it. And so it's no longer about about racial equality here. It's about not liking the way the dynamics of the country is moving towards.
And I agree with that. Now. My only thought is, and I'm gonna get on Donald Trump on this because it really kind of irritated me. I'm irritated with him on this issue as much as I'm irritated with the NFL because, again, this movement was going away. People weren't really paying attention to it. There were a few people. It was leaving a spotlight, and then in Alabama, when Trump was there campaigning for Luther Strange, who actually lost in the Senate primary down there.
Yeah. I kind of like that, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. But that SOB should be fire fuel for the flag.
Yeah.
Before he said that, he articulated that that we should stand for the flag. We should be prideful in our country. We should be doing these things, which I feel is a presidential thing to say. And then he lost me on that, and I just don't feel like and I hold him to the same standard I held President Obama to. And Lord knows I was not a fan of him. But when he came out with the kid that was shot in Florida and Trayvon Martin, and if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon Martin. You don't thank you. You don't interject yourself in these types of things. You don't interject yourself in Ferguson, Missouri, and send Eric Holder's the most corrupt Department of Justice ever into there looking for junk. You just don't do it as a president, and that kind of drove me nuts. But as always, the left behaved like petulant children. Remember when your kids were young?
Yeah. Still.
And like my boys when they were young, and I couldn't get them to eat their food.
Yeah.
I bet you can't eat your food. You're not big enough to eat your food. And he says, "Oh yeah, Dad, watch." That's what the left did. Oh yeah, what? They're petulant children. Well, and the same thing goes with these football players.
Well,
it's just what it is.
Thing to me, what I think, I wish kind of Trump would handle this a little bit differently. The way he's handling things instead of trying to higher ground, but he's not really doing that. I think he's playing right into it, and he's really giving these people something to feed off of. And it does sound like it's challenging. But when you talk, I'm seeing some people right here respond about this, and a lot of people aren't seeing. They're talking a lot about other football players doing things wrong, and they're still allowed to play in the league. And I'm saying you are entitled to free speech. You are entitled to your First Amendment right. But the problem is there's a lot of baggage with him now. So if he's a great player, they're going to pick him up. But if he's an average player, and people are going to say now you bring all this baggage because, like I said, you've alienated a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are upset with this. A lot of veterans are upset with this. A lot of people who just think, if you want to protest, that's fine, but maybe not during the national anthem. It's probably not the best time to do it.
There are better places.
I'm not trying to disrespect the country. Well, you are. A lot of
you absolutely are.
In a lot of people's opinion, you are. That's kind of a slap in a lot of people's face. Like they see these things where the people. That's like saying, "Well, I'm burning this flag, but I'm not doing it against the country. I'm doing it against this thing." People don't see it that way, man. It's you are legally allowed to burn flags. That's 100% true. But you do that, and you're going to offend a lot of people. So when you're trying to make it like, I can't do whatever I want my job at the fire department. I can't say it's my First Amendment right. It's my First Amendment right to get fired there too, because they don't have to do it. They can fire me for that, So and here's the weird thing, in my opinion. You have this thing, and it's actually a rule in the NFL. You're supposed to stand up for this thing, and they're not doing anything about it now. There's other rules, like if you do an end zone dance, whatever.
No twerking.
You get fined for that. So why are you going to fine somebody for not following this rule, but you're not going to fine somebody for not following that rule? Just be consistent in the NFL, because the only thing that's going to make the NFL change is when people stop watching or stop going. And it's already starting right now. I think
and we've seen
once
that.
this happens where it's noticeable, it's noticeable, I think that you're going to see, like, I keep thinking if they have one day where it says we're not going to go to the games, and you lose a bunch of people, a third of the stadium's empty, the next day there's going to be a policy out. We're going to enforce this rule. That's what it's going to take.
Does it go up or does it go down?
Does what go up or down?
Just fade away.
Yeah, that's a good question. You guys think it'll fade away, or is it just going to? I think something's going to happen here pretty soon, because I think the owners are going to start seeing dollar signs lose. You got a couple. I think a guy in Tennessee, one of the big sponsors is pulling out. You're going to have some sponsors pull out. People are going to go, it's not worth the headache right now because we're losing money. And that's all about money at the end of the day. I think the owners don't want to make the players mad, so they're bowing down right now. But once they see the dollar signs, they're going to say, we can't do anything. Because here's my thing. I would really respect the players if they're going to go, okay, we're losing a lot of revenue. You guys are all going to have to get your pay cut in half. If they will say, okay, I will respect them and I'll listen to them. If they go, what? I'm not. No.
I'll stand.
I'll be like, who was the guy? Patrick Ewing. Yeah, we spend a lot of money. Oh, no. Yeah, we make a lot of money, but we spend a lot of money. So it's like, yeah. Well said, Patrick. You're probably the smartest thing you ever said. I know you spend a lot of money because you got 4 boats and like 8 babies, mamas, and all these different problems, Patrick Ewing. But I don't know. Maybe he wasn't like that. I don't know. I'm just saying they spend a lot of money. But
So here's what I've been hearing a lot of is, well, they have the right. Just like you said, you're absolutely right.
You have the right to
you have the right. However, let's remember that our First Amendment right is protection against the government, not protection against public opinion, and not protection against consequences.
Yep, exactly.
Just because you have the right doesn't make it right, and just because you have the right doesn't mean you're not going to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
As far as the NFL goes, I'm irate with the NFL and the way they've handled this.
Was that spring well? Go ahead.
Because you can, so you can stretch, sit, do whatever you want during the national anthem. Apparently, and that's completely fine with them. But when the Dallas Cowboys last season wanted to have an emblem on their helmets, I believe it was, for the 4 police officers that were slain in that shooting, the NFL said, no, if you do it, we'll fine you.
or what people have had to do it for September 11th.
For the 9/11 claims. Nope. If you do it, we will find you.
So that's
Fuck
yeah,
off.
Exactly. I don't get that, and I think you're right. I know. I think Latrell Sprewell was the one who said when he got offered about $7 million a year, he goes, "Look, I got to feed my family. I can't play for that." I think it was he got a $7 or $8 million contract, and I think he said, "I got to feed my family." I'm like, how many kids you got, Latrell? What are you guys eating? Lobster every night? I mean, come on, dude. That's a lot of lobster, brother. So I don't know. I think that was Latrell who said that one. So you can check me out on that.
We're going to.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean,
well, and that's why my
my
frustration is with the NFL because you're in a private entity. They make the rules, and that's fine. But if you're not going to uphold a certain standard of conduct for your players, I don't have any use for it.
And I do like the light that's being shed right now in the NFL. You guys know that they are a nonprofit organization. How's that work out? I mean, come on, please tell me what kind of public service they're doing. How is that even a real thing?
We all paid for Lucas Oil Stadium.
Why is every business out there not a nonprofit? If they can be a nonprofit, why can't everybody? I don't understand it. I mean, how is that even a real thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna need.
I mean, I want that light to be shining on that. How are these guys a nonprofit? Because I really would like to see how these players react if they have to get if push comes to shove and things go bad for the NFL now, and they got to get their pay cut. Are you guys still going to be? Yeah, I'll do this. I'll keep kneeling. Let's see if you keep doing it. If you keep kneeling when your pay gets cut in half, I will listen to you and I'll respect you. If not, then shut up and just stand up when they tell you to, buddy. That's it. If you don't, you can be mumbling all kinds of stuff and I hate this stuff. Whatever, man. But I'm just saying that whenever I go to a game, whenever I've been to a wrestling meet, whenever I've been to a football match, whatever, if people if they would kneel down or would stand up, that would be like, look. I mean, everybody would be like, look at this guy. I mean, everybody would be very upset with that. But I mean, you could be like, I'll protest. I mean, if it's all about protest, you're not liking Trump. I mean, did I protest for the last 8 years? I mean. And it wasn't, my thing I like about Obama was his policies. It wasn't about him. I thought he was probably a nice, funny guy, but I mean, I like his policies, man. I'm not. So I don't understand why just because you don't get your way. That's where I get where I say the people are acting like spoiled little brats, unaccountable for anything. It's not my fault, It's because they're acting like that. They're acting like immature little kids who are mad at the way I see it. So
yeah, it's. It's funny how
Shine. I'm picking them to win this week, by the way. He said Andy Dalton can't. He wants them to stand in the pocket. But, hey, they should have won last week, buddy.
It's funny how this is so
they did cover.
such a politically split issue. If you're on the right, you think everybody should stand for the pledge for the national anthem. If you're on the left, well, no, I get it. You're either I get it. It's
That's
okay,
the weird thing
or
to me.
it's like, yeah, fuck this country. And what it is that, in my opinion, it's purely in my opinion, and whoever's watching, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but the left hates this country. When you have a president that comes in and says, I want to fundamentally change America.
Well, it's just like when you talk about this Kaepernick thing. He comes and he's like, he's like, no, it's not about any of this. And he comes and he starts having pigs on his socks, and dressed like police officers. He's made it, abundantly clear he doesn't support the police. He doesn't, or he just says the bad ones. I don't know. And then he's wearing, Castro T-shirts and Hugo, just different.
Jay Vergara.
Yeah, okay, that's what. But he also had the Castro shirt. He's like, no, I like his education. I'm like, to me, that guy. You were talking about human rights and what he did for human rights was horrible. And then you say, well, like his education. That'd be like me wearing a Hitler shirt. Like, well, he had good education. I mean, what? You can't
he kills people.
Yeah, but
he killed people.
That Castro, if you disagree with him, he said he was going to have democratic elections. Never did. There for 5 decades. 50 years.
He was democratically elected the first election he came in.
But then he kept saying he's going to have elections. Never did. He was a dictator, and anybody who disagreed with him, they put in prison, forever. And you're going to talk about human rights, and in this, you can't stay in this country because of that, but you like that guy? He seems to me to be like a little kid who doesn't know what he's playing revolutionary. So I have little respect for trying to stand up for something like that when you seem very confused yourself, man. I don't think you seem like you read a book one week and like, yeah, this country's not fair, and you just got, man, I don't understand it, man.
Okay. So going back to the anthem, Alejandro Villanueva.
Oh yeah, he was a Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers offensive tackle.
Served
former Army
three
Ranger.
tours in Afghanistan and Iraq combined.
Yeah, stands outside the locker room for the national anthem. You know what? He became in that moment the anti-Colin Kaepernick, the antithesis, the only player willing to stand for the anthem. And I watched that. I watched the coverage of that, and I was just like, yeah, like this is it. Now, come to find out, they had made a team decision to stay inside the locker room during the anthem because, to hear Mike Tomlin tell it they didn't want to participate in anything political, which I understand. And I kind of feel like Mike Tomlin kind of threw him under the bus for that. And I wonder how much pressure he got because his statement 2 days later was,
he kind of backed off.
I made Coach Tomlin look bad, and that was my fault and my fault only. I made my teammates look bad, that was my fault and my fault only. My only answer to that is, no, you did not. You made you and the rest of America, who stands for this national anthem, look like the patriotic, good people that we are.
You know what? His jersey sales, whoop, they're like up in the top 5 now or something because of that, man. And that says a lot right there. That says that people who are actually support the NFL are supporting this guy now. So I think they got to be very careful what they're doing, the NFL, because if they get too much more of a loss of income, I personally love it because I'd like to see. I really want to see these people take a pay cut and feel a little bit of the pressure. You have the right to do whatever you want and know that there's going to be a consequence for those actions. So that's all I'm asking.
On the plus side of that, we need some more good news. The women's lingerie league.
They're standing.
They're all going to stand for the.
I'm in now.
I applaud you, ladies. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, when is that coming on?
I don't know. I need to TiVo that. Is TiVo still a thing?
I don't know. It's worth a Google though. So I'll put on the Fire Stick or whatever.
We need to figure that out. I'm gonna watch you later. So I do have some good news out of bad news.
Okay.
All right.
My head just kind of blew up.
I know. It's out there, but I have a Second Amendment success story.
Let's hear it.
And I love it because we don't hear these. We hear guns are evil. We hear guns, whatever. You know what we hear. You're there hearing it too. So on Sunday, this last Sunday, the 24th. This is the sad part. A masked gunman opened fire at a church in Antioch, Tennessee. We've got 1 dead and 8 wounded. Now, I want to take note
this doesn't sound good to
this that we didn't hear about this.
Yeah.
This was not on the news. This was not on the mainstream media. It was tucked under. This is third, fourth, fifth page of the Wall Street Journal type stuff. Okay. The shooter was identified as Emmanuel Sampson, 25 years old, U.S. resident who moved here from Sudan in 1996. You can start to see why we didn't hear about this because it does not fit the left's narrative. So he goes into this church, shoots a woman in the parking lot, then goes inside the church and starts shooting. Robert Caleb Engel, 22 years old, intervenes. Charges at the shooter. Starts wrestling for his gun.
Nice.
Now, he told his friend, according to interviews, that he thought he had his pistol on him, but didn't.
He got there. Dope.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Ends up wrestling with him. He gets pistol whipped. All right. At some point, the attacker's gun goes off and shoots the attacker in the chest.
Nice.
Okay. According to Nashville police, it is positive. What's even more positive is that Robert Caleb Engel, at that point, having a chance, ran out to his car, grabbed his pistol, came back in and held the shooter at gunpoint until Nashville police arrived.
In that situation, I'm a little disappointed he didn't just shoot him again. That's what I think he should have done personally, but he could have looked at all the court time he could have saved, all the money he could have saved. That's just me.
Had he had his pistol on him, I don't believe that the other 7 people inside the church get shot. And we're talking old people. These people were in their 70s and 80s that got shot. Man. It's absolutely ridiculous. The shooter, I'm not going to say his name again because he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
The shooter had attended that church prior for quite a long time, and there's still no clue on the motive. From the Nashville Police Department, Engel, despite his injuries, ran out to his car in a parking lot, retrieved his pistol, held the gunman at gunpoint until police arrived. The police chief there in Antioch said Engel's actions probably prevented more bloodshed.
Good for him.
He suffered severe injuries, not a gunshot, but from being beaten with the pistol whipping. He's the hero here. He's the person who stopped the madness in his tracks. And exactly, good for him, and thank you. And this is why, I'm a big proponent of the only defense against a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Yeah.
And
I'm not for people carrying those. Sorry, I said grenade. I said unless you got a grenade.
Oh, that's probably a bad idea. Probably a bad idea. You're going to take everybody out. But I thought that was a heartwarming story. Despite the fact that one woman died and seven were injured, I'm glad there were 49 people in the church.
Yeah, it could have been even worse.
49 or 42. I don't remember which. I mean, it could have been much worse, and it wasn't.
Well, that's good to hear, man. Because you know what's weird? You think about what would you do in that situation? I could think I'm going to run over there and jump on the guy and take care of everything, but are you going to try and cover your family? Are you going to try and that'd be a tough one, man? Are you going to run, grab everybody and run out the door and try to save your own? That'd be a tough situation. I don't know.
And to make that decision.
Yeah, you don't have time to think about it and get a pros and cons checklist. You're just going to have to react.
And to make that decision at 22 years old.
Yeah, I'm proud
at 22, good for you. And not a military guy. Which, when I think military guy, I think that makes sense. Yeah. But just a guy going to church and said, no, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm going to take care of it. And I think that's pretty freaking awesome.
That is cool. That is good. Now I got one more story. It's not positive though. Well, it's kind of positive in a way. Remember, not too long ago when that guy was on the plane getting ready to go to, I think it was going to Louisville, and they drug him off and said, I'm not getting out of my seat.
Asian doctor.
He's yelling. We had another lady kind of get dragged off a Southwest plane. She was 46 years old. Anila something or other. She's from Baltimore. She's complaining. Okay, but this wasn't quite the same. She goes on the plane and starts complaining about a couple dogs. She's like, look, I'm definitely allergic to dogs, and I'm not flying on this plane. They're like, well, this is like this dog's helping its owner to,
It was a service dog?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Regardless. But she's like, I refuse to fly on here. And they go,
get out.
They said, get out. Then fine. She's like, I'm not getting out. And refused to get off the plane. He's like, I'm not getting out. You have to get this dog off. They're like, no, we don't. Refuses to get off. They drag her. Like, they keep trying to drag her off. She's like, let me go. And so they keep, okay, we walk. And she's like, I will. And she's holding on to seats.
Oh, my
not
Christ.
getting off. So finally they drug her off. But it was just awesome. Other people weren't. The other people, when the man was being dragged off, they're like, leave him alone. With her, they're going, walk off. Let this, get off the plane. They're yelling at this lady because she was being ridiculous, man. It's like, come on, lady. You think they should get those dogs off because you don't feel like it? She's one of those people I'm talking about. Nothing's my fault. I'm not going to say who she voted for.
The world owes
I have a theory.
me.
I have a theory.
The world owes me everything. I'm alive. Give me stuff. Bow down to me. I don't care about you.
This isn't my fault. I'm important, and nobody else is, and this is my personal plane. But that's not the truth. So that's what happened, and I'm glad she got thrown off. And hopefully, wherever prison she went to, there's a dog there.
I hope so.
Yeah, and they also said, well, show us papers that show, some proof that you're this allergic to dogs. She couldn't produce them. Just couldn't say she put the dog off the plane.
Well, there was a story.
Not our responsibility, lady.
The other day about a girl, and I watched the video going off on a veteran who had a service dog in a fast food restaurant, telling him how disgusting he is for having an animal inside of a restaurant, and just going off for a solid 3-4 minutes on this vet, and the guy is just sitting there taking it like a champ.
Well, first of all, if she's in a fast food restaurant, I bet she's pretty disgusting too, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Just a guess. I don't know. Yeah.
It's just
to lump everybody into one lump.
Are you ready for some traction?
Oh yeah, let's hear traction. Okay.
Traction this week brought to you by these fine people here at the Stack Pickle.
Stack Pickle wants to hear if this has got some traction here. What do we got here?
So we're going kind of obscure here. Saudi women
from
Saudi Arabia will be allowed to drive the age of 18, same as men. They will still have some restrictions that men won't. A representative from there says women, quote, women must adhere to the necessary Sharia standards, which are ridiculous.
They're going to have to ask a man if they can drive first. But after that, then they can drive, right?
They can drive. This
is probably going to be a lot of designated driving privileges. Is probably why this came to be, don't you think?
That makes sense to me. I loved when we'd have a pregnant girl in the group.
Yeah, come on,
because I
driving,
knew
hon.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Don't have to drive.
Exactly.
We're good.
Well, we'll see if that.
Does it have traction? You think that's a big deal?
You would think that. I mean, it'd have to at some point. They have to say, look, rules are rules. I mean, the world's kind of bashing us. We have to let you guys do it.
You know what kills me?
What's happening?
What's up, Southside guy? The thing that kills me is that we speak against so many of these backwards Muslim nations, except for Saudi Arabia.
They get a free pass. What are you talking about?
And I do fully believe that it has to do with our trade and our interaction with them, and that drives me nuts.
That's nonsense.
Right is right is right is right.
Wrong is wrong.
Maybe I am.
Now you're a
Maybe it drives me nuts. This earlier, federal investigation, NCAA,
I
men's
think for
basketball.
sure this stuff's going to stick, man. I think this has got some legs, it's got some traction. I think you're going to see a lot of heads roll for this one.
Now, do you think it's going to change policy, or do you think it's going to change the
No,
practice?
I think they're going to hide it better. I mean, this is going to happen. You know, when you have dollars involved, you always got to follow the money, and there's always going to be people who are going to try and bend the rules or do what they can to try and get the advantage. I think, but I mean, I think that more people might get caught from it, but people are still going to do it.
All right. So here locally in Southport, police.
From that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's what right here. Police officer was shot early in the summer.
Horrible situation, yeah.
I'm missing it. Terry Curry, the prosecutor on the case, is seeking the death penalty for the killer of that Southport police officer. Yeah. Jason Brown is the name of the killer. His quote was, "Choices were made by this defendant which resulted in the death of Lieutenant Allen, and he must be held accountable for these choices." Now, I have not heard many of the specifics on this case.
I've tried to look into them.
So what? I mean, your idea of the death penalty as a whole, what do you think?
I mean, I'm all for it, to be honest with you. I mean, I just don't see, to me, I mean, I don't know if this situation qualifies. I'm not going to say that, but I'm saying there is certain situations where I don't see why. He's basically just taking up something that, space, resources, and the world would be a better place without them there. I'm not saying that's what this guy is, but I'm saying there are certain situations where, you're not fixing this person, you're not making them a better person, you're not making the world a better place. All we are doing, and when you do certain things, I think you forfeit your life. Like if you walk into a gas station or a restaurant with a gun and you threaten to kill people there, you forfeited your life. And if you get killed, I don't really feel sorry for you.
Sure.
I just think that, people have to do that. So when I hear people get say, you don't have to kill the person, well, maybe you did. We don't know. I mean, so once you do certain things, I think you have forfeited your life. When this guy, he wrecked his car, the police officer crawled up to try and help him, and he shot him like 15 times, 14 times. I mean, I'd like to hear maybe unless he had brain damage. I heard he was maybe. I think he was on drugs, so maybe he really wasn't a bad guy. He was out of control. But once again, you do something like that, you lose, accountability, and quit saying it wasn't my fault. I was on drugs. You chose to take those drugs. Everything is your fault after that. So.
Yeah. No. I agree. That's completely. It's completely his fault. As far as death penalty thing goes, I'm so torn on it, and the reason I'm torn on it is because I would not want to be in the position to sentence someone to death and possibly make a mistake. Like if I'm that judge, I don't want to, and yes, there's a ridiculous appeals process. It'll be 20 years before he's put to death, and I fully understand that, but I don't want to be in that position.
Week. Like you get 1 week afterwards.
Man, if they get it wrong, here's
the thing. I mean, here's the thing with this situation. I don't know. I think it'd be hard to give the death penalty if you're not really sure that the person did these things. Now, in here, I don't think there's any question whether the person did it. It's not like they're trying to say somebody.
But you also have to prove intent in a murder case. In a murder one case, you have to prove intent.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know that the intent is there because of the situation. At least from what I've heard of the case, because he was wrecked. He was driving through a neighborhood ridiculously fast.
He was driving down Madison Avenue very fast and erratic, and I'm like, but from what I've gathered, he stopped at somebody's apartment, and I'm thinking he probably did some drugs, and then he started driving erratic after that, and going real fast where he shouldn't, flip the car upside down. So maybe he was out on his mind on drugs. Maybe he had a medical condition. I don't know. So I don't know the situation. I'm not saying my theory is he did drugs, but that's a 100% theory. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
So I can't say if this situation deserves that, but I would just say in certain situations, I would be all in favor of the death penalty.
Yeah, all right, I'm with you. So piggybacking off of that, Indianapolis is now the 12th most dangerous city in the country.
Also, I'm going to say I'm very disappointed we haven't cracked the top 10 yet. That's embarrassing. Come on, Indianapolis.
I mean, we're on the way.
Are you guys even trying out there? You know what really makes me mad about that? I see somebody on the west side getting shot because I work on the east side, and I want to stay number one. You know, I want more deaths and murder on the east side.
I think the east side is still number one.
Oh, it is. But I mean, west side, quit trying to catch up. And that bothers me. But, you know, I mean.
We were 13th last year.
Can we not crack the top 10? Indy? Let's work together for something. Be the best. If you're going to be the best at something. We can't be at other things, be at killing people, I guess. Is that just murders? Or is that just
it's all violent crime.
So
it also includes things like home invasions and burglaries and things like that. For instance, we have 1,150 burglaries per 100,000 residents per year. That's a lot.
Huh.
Like, I thought 1,100 burglaries was a lot for the year, but it's 1,100 per 100,000.
Wow.
That's a ridiculous amount. We were 13th last year. We're 12th this year. Indianapolis, we talked about this last week. Last week we hit 100 murders for the year, and there have been 3 since. We're now at 103.
But that's down. I remember getting up to about 150 at one point last couple of years. I don't know. So, yeah, that's just too much, man. I don't like it. It bothers me to no end how this is going on.
It's just it's scary.
Man? I mean, you know, I was watching a police officer on the Joe Rogan Experience the other day, and he was from Baltimore, and he kept saying how, in his estimation, 80 to 90% of the violence and everything is drug-related.
Yeah.
And so he was saying something got me. I got back from Holland, where, marijuana is 100% legal. Not 100%, I should say, but I mean, it's legal. And then you also have, heroin is decriminalized. And, I mean, I thought it was going to be like the wild. I mean, it's not legal, but I don't think they have the penalties. Like if people are heroin addicts, they go to like a clinic and they give them heroin and they let them do it there.
Okay.
So they don't go out and rob and they don't do things. And it's just crazy to me that, I thought it was going to be like the Las Vegas of Europe, wild and crazy, people jumping out of windows. It was very tame. Everybody's very relaxed. They don't see things the way we do. But it worked out a lot better, and they don't have all the violence and all the crimes, probably because maybe the guy on the Joe Rogan Experience was right. Maybe if you take away these things, they're not going to have the problem. So here's the thing. If heroin was legal, I'm probably still not going to do it. Matter of fact, I'm sure I'm not going to do it. I don't know how many people are going to do it. So I don't think you're stopping people by making it illegal. I don't think you're stopping people from smoking weed by making it. Everybody I know who smokes weed, even though it's illegal, they're going to do it whether it's legal or not. So I don't understand what you're trying to do by making this legality stuff. You're basically putting a lot of people in prison. You're spending lots of dollars for it, and you're not doing you're not solving the problem here. So I don't get it. Who? What's happening? What's happening, buddy? I need to come out to your schools and talk sometime. Let me know when.
Yeah, you do. As far as marijuana legalization goes, I can't make an argument.
That's embarrassing.
I can't make an argument against it. My own personal opinion, being the federalist-minded person that I am, I think it should be decriminalized at the federal level. Let the states make their own call.
That'd be great.
Because there are a lot of things that come with that. A lot of are you going to regulate it? How much are you going to regulate it? Are you going to tax it? I don't like the idea of taxing it because I don't like the idea of increased taxes. And
here's the thing. I don't mind sin taxes. Here's the thing. I'd rather have that kind of tax than an income tax.
Yeah,
so if you're going to tax something, I have no problem taxing alcohol, tobacco, cigarettes.
What's that old adage? A fine is a tax for doing something bad, and a tax is a fine for doing something good?
There you go. That makes sense to me. I like that. So I would have no problem. I mean, if they can make that at an affordable rate and create a lot of money from tax revenue from it, I'd be all for that for people. I mean, I'm still not going to buy any, So
now the opioids, I could not get behind a legalization of that.
They're already legal. I mean, in a way. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the pharmaceutical. Yeah, you're right. It is, and they're obviously overprescribed.
Yeah, I mean that people.
But
you're not stopping people from doing that either, right?
It's my own ignorant fear that makes me say that.
That leads to heroin. I don't think anybody says that's 100%.
Oh, it does. It does, and I'm terrified of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't. If I saw somebody putting a needle in her arm, like no. I don't have the wherewithal.
Like I said, it's horrible, it's stupid, but I don't know. To each his own. I don't believe, until you're harming another person, you should do anything about things like that. I mean, here's the thing: people are making terrible decisions every day. They're eating horrible food. They're not working out. They're destroying their bodies, and we let them do that. Unless you're hurting me, I'm not real sure I should really get in the way. I mean, if it was a friend, I'd love to intervene. I'd be like, hey, man, you shouldn't be doing that. I think everybody should know. Everybody, but I don't understand how you don't know you shouldn't be doing that. How do you ever do heroin for the first time? You know what happens afterwards. You know what happens. Have you watched TV? Have you watched movies? What's that movie? Watch Requiem of a Dream. Requiem of a Dream. You ever seen that one?
I don't think so.
Brutal, dude.
I don't think so.
Well, you have to. That's your homework for next week.
All right, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Yeah.
So I've got our dumbass award.
All right, what do we got here?
We're gonna backtrack.
Okay, let's
Are you ready
it.
for this,
Yeah.
Mister? I want to preface this by saying that I have been a Tennessee Titans fan
I think I know where you're going.
since they were the Tennessee Titans because I randomly picked the Oilers as a child.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked the colors as a kid, and so that's who I picked, and I just followed it. And I'm so disgusted with Delaney Walker.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read you a quote.
Let's hear the quote.
All right. First off, I'm going to say this: we're not disrespecting the military, the men and women that serve in the Army. That's not what this is about. I've been in the USO. I support the troops. This is not about that. It's about equal rights. That's all everyone's trying to show is that we care about each other. Full stop. If you stop there, Delaney Walker, I'm okay with you. I think you're a little misguided. I think your facts are off, but I'm okay with you. But he kept going. And the fans that don't want to come to the game, I mean, okay, bye. I mean, if you feel there's something we're disrespecting you, don't come to the game. You don't have to. No one's telling you to come to the game. It's your freedom of choice to do that. Okay.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
That's my response.
Here's the thing. When he does that, and when a lot of people quit coming, and when all of a sudden they go, hey, Delaney, you now, what do you do for a living? I sell shoes. This sucks. I mean, it's like, when your pay gets cut in half, let's see how you talk then. You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden, I'm sure you got this lifestyle you're accustomed to. Hopefully, you've been wise and saved your money. I bet you haven't. So let's see what happens
if Roger Goodell
if your stuff
has
gets
a
cut.
single hair on his ass, I want him suspended for that.
He won't get. Are you kidding me, man? I mean, no. Here's the thing. I mean, it's all great until it happens. You don't know what you're saying, buddy. When your fans quit coming to the game and you lose a bunch of money, and I know you have a contract, but if they go, well, we can't pay this stuff anymore, I'm sorry. I mean, it could happen. I can't wait to see what happens.
Do these guys forget who pays their bills?
They don't. You don't understand. I guarantee from the time these kids have been 15, they've been treated different, most of them. I mean, they've been good athletes. They've been treated like they're the greatest thing in the world. They don't live in the real world, man. They don't understand what real people deal with, man. So they don't. They just think that they're always treated like this, and that's how they're always going to be treated. They're better than you and I, so they don't get it. They don't get it.
I was disgusted by this, and that's why, Mr. Delaney Walker, you are my dumbass of the week.
There you
mother,
go. I appreciate it.
Pete, where are we at tomorrow, bud? Or next week? I'm sorry. We are at Scotty's Doghouse over on Butler. I can't wait to go to Butler.
I've never been there before. I can't wait to check it out.
I've never been to the restaurant, but I love Butler. It is family friendly, just like the stacked pickle.
$2 well drinks. Are you kidding me, man? I might even buy you a drink if you come and see me.
I'll buy you a well drink if you're
man
enough
come
to drink
over
a well
there
drink.
and you come over there and you can let me think of some good trivia to ask you guys. I'll think of something and I'll get it to you then, and then you gotta let me know. So,
guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. What's up?
Once again, obviously, Scotty's there. What's the name of the place?
Scotty's Doghouse.
Yep,
Doghouse because that Butler. Hold on.
Yep, that makes sense to me. We got the stacked pickle as usual. Love it here.
I do. It is nice here. It's super nice.
That place we were at last week, we should be back here in a couple weeks again. It'll be awesome.
And Kelly Promotional Products.
Yes, sir. So,
okay, the banner. Are we going to get Kelly in here to tell us about what they do? All right.
Office furniture, all kinds of good stuff. So we thank you guys for paying attention. I want you guys to think of some stuff, and next week try to